too in spirit. Protect my energy so I won't let you near it. Whole tribe going up, breaking through the ceiling. And when they look at us, they can see the healing. Breaking generational curses. Claim abundance cause I'm deserving. All my haters is getting nervous. We bout to blow.
Good afternoon and welcome to our kickoff, our launch of racism access denied. I'm so used to saying that other one. But we want to thank you for being here with us today, especially on Labor Day. I don't think we thought that through pretty good when we considered it. But for those who don't know, my name is Larry Jefferson. I'm part of this dynamic team. I'll let my guy introduce himself.
Yeah, man, Dantrayl Smith. Good to be here, man. And yes, RAD podcast as it is. And bro, like I'm super excited about this new journey, man.
Right, super. Especially with us taking that step to go out and on our own. So shout out to JD for pushing us to really take that step and kind of branch out and do it out on our own. So appreciate it, Dumont.
Yeah. So a lot of people, if you are logging in and seeing this new name, so we had a conversation with a couple of individuals that have really been supporting our podcast when we were with another entity. And so
we can't say the name.
Hey, I'm afraid they may try to come back with it, man. So
I feel you.
But no, I mean I'm truly honored, man, to within a year to see the podcast grow and bloom like it did. I think the song that we selected, man, just really emulates what it is that we're trying to do, where we're going, and so yeah, we stepped out. Larry came up with a new name for the podcast, which I think is super dope and really speaks to what it is that we're trying to do. And just trying to make sure that when people walk away from this podcast, man, that they're really truly learning and taking some helpful tips with them to address these different types of conversations. And the fact that now it's after 5:00 when we get off work, man.
Yeah,
we don't have to really hold back anything, can really speak authentic to what it is that we want to say.
Yeah, and at first, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, man, we're gonna do this after work. I started thinking about that breaking the rules. I was working late. But nah, man. What's funny is when we finally returned back to campus on July 16th, 17th, whatever day it was, walking down the hallways, I had a lot of my colleagues approaching me, and they were so supportive of what we're doing, the messages, individuals that I had never really had conversed with before. And they was like, hey, when are y'all starting back? We love it. It's amazing. Don't change. Because I was telling them, we're going to make a few changes. Like, no, don't change. I said, well, you still gonna get the real us at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I feel like this opportunity allows us to branch out a little bit more. Again, and it's all about having the right people in your corner and supporting you to push you to, because I don't even think, it wasn't in my mind at the time that we thought about it. But, that's what friendship is about, having that person to tell you, hey, you're doing good, but you could really be doing a lot better. So I'm very appreciative of that.
I agree with you, man. Because when we first started talking about doing a podcast, I mean, we were just really kind of playing around, man. We were like, you know what, we'll get on here talk about a couple things, really, advertise to some students, get the word out. Another way to just kind of market to them. And
Right.
when the pandemic hit, man, it was like, yo, we got to do something.
Took off. Honestly, it was a blessing. That's
Yeah,
just real talk. You know what I'm saying? Um, and a lot of people can look at the pandemic and some of the things that happened and find a bunch of negativity that came, hell, including me. But I feel like one of the most enlightening, exciting times were Tuesday at 12 o'clock.
right.
Um, having those conversations, and me even being uncomfortable with some of them was exciting for me. I'm super excited about what we're going to do this semester. Um, I think it's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let me ask you this, man, before we dive into the actual semester episode list. What has been the greatest joy over the past year doing the podcast, man? What has been your greatest sense of joy?
That we honestly just real talk. We didn't do the bare minimum. We we really took time to like, how can we improve this? How can we improve this? Hey, let's change this. And then bringing on people to help us, realizing that we can't do it all. Seeking feedback from individuals, I think spoke a lot to what we wanted to do. Spoke to our leadership, and just being able to receive from the individuals that are close to us. And like I say, I couldn't imagine doing this with anybody else. So that's another thing. Our vibe just clicks so easy, and we make it look so easy. And you would think we've been knowing each other for years, and it's only been like 3 years. So to have that rapport, and the crap just goes just smooth as it's done. It makes me excited, man. And take it. I've never been into doing this type of stuff. I've always been like, let me be in the background, blah blah blah. I told my wife today. I said, man, after this, she was like, well, I'm gonna have a fan club. She gave me a look. She didn't like it, bro. She
Yeah.
like, nah, I don't know about all that.
Hey, she's
I was
like,
like, yep.
tune in every episode now.
Hey, I showed her the t-shirts. I said, yeah, we're gonna start this fan club. I ain't tell her. She act like I said it was an OnlyFans. I said fan club, not OnlyFans. Like, man.
Yeah, we ain't gonna be doing all of that.
What about you?
Man, you know what? I have to echo it. I've never had a coworker, man, that I've just really vibed to the level that you and me vibe to, man. And then to step out on faith, man, and open up our own business with somebody who I've known less than 4 years, and to take that venture, man, and that jump. It's been probably one of the most exciting things to see. And then also, man, we talk about the podcast and just what we do and the effect of it. Like you said, people coming up to you and just saying how impactful the podcast has been, and just some of the conversations that we've shared. People saying, that was extremely difficult for me to listen to, but I learned so much, saying from this one episode. And
One of my coworkers said she cried.
For real?
Yeah, she said it touched her that much. I was like, she. All right. I was like, hey, that let me know. I was like, man, we really, really doing some things out here.
Yeah. And it's taking a full effect on folks, man. But that's what I would say, man. For me, man, it's just been super. The journey has been exciting, fun. Like you said, I was telling my wife, like, I had no idea, man, right, that doing a podcast like this would be something that I would be getting into and really like enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Like it was like, we're gonna play around with it, man, do whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then after a couple semesters or two, man, I'm done with it. But like now, bruh.
I honestly, to be real, after we did the misconceptions of black men, I was like, man, we need to stop. Like I don't want to do no more because I was like, it was good, and I felt like it had such a great impact. I didn't want whatever we did next to not be as good. I don't know if you've seen that Chappelle show when he talks about all they're gonna say it wasn't good as the last series,
Yep.
And so I was like, we're gonna do this women one, and our audience is what 70% female. So I was like,
Makes sense.
I hope we address most of the issues that concerns them, So, but it was a hit, Um, actually, it was probably even better than the guys one,
Yep.
Because women can talk, so they could,
Right.
they really shine, and so this upcoming series, um, man, it's going to be great. It's going to be difficult for some. Um, I think it's going to be real. Anybody that know both of us, they know we ain't holding back. We're probably as real as it get,
Right.
So I'm stoked.
Yeah, man. I think for me, as we talk about the semester, we talk about what we're going to be diving into. I'm looking forward to episode 2. Next week we're going to be talking about police brutality, and we got a 3-part series as we talk about police brutality. Of course, one in the grand scheme of the sense of what it is, right? So we're talking about the conversations between police officers and bringing in activists that are like really doing stuff in the community, and then bringing in police officers, particularly white police officers, to be able to bridge those conversations, man. Dude, like I'm like, man, we finna hit them heavy and hard next week. You know what I'm saying?
But for them to come on speaks volumes about their character, because they didn't have to do it, and so I'm very appreciative of that.
Yeah,
But I haven't had a conversation with a police officer in a good context or a good dialogue in a long time. So this will be interesting.
yeah. One of the next one, man. After that one, we're gonna be talking about part 2, but this is a focused on students on campus. And so students that attend college but deal with the police officers on the campus. I'm really interested to see this perspective of how they see the police officers on their campus. Like, is there a difference between the police officers that, when you call 911 or respond, or do they see them as, nah, these motherfuckers, man, are the same police
Real
officers?
cops,
Yeah, you know what I'm
real
saying?
cops.
So
So
it's like, how do they really foresee that, man?
and that will be very interesting. I had a conversation with one of the police officers on campus, and I was like, how do you feel about your job and your relationships to the student body? And he was like, well, for me, it's not that much of a relationship. And I asked, like, right after we decided to do it, just to kind of educate myself more on it, and then start thinking back when I was in college and my relationships with with police officers that were on campus. And needless to say, it wasn't a very good one.
Right.
Uh, but one of our mentors is a white. He's our captain on our campus.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's trying to bridge that relationship, and students receive him, but he comes to our meetings, he comes to our events. Shoot, we was outside doing the open house the other day. This boy was out there in full uniform, and it was 100 degrees hot, but he said, I just want to show him that I'm here to support.
Yeah.
And so, but he was there. Not another one was on campus. Not even the the ones that are of color. So
Uh,
is it deeper than just those who are Caucasian? Do they still feel the same way about them across the board? Is what I'm more so interested in.
man, hey, we gotta bring him. We gotta bring him on in.
Yeah,
Show, man.
yeah,
And then so I think the next one is we talked about one of the things that we wanted to really change is really to focus on some solutions. And so, man, in the episode 4, we're gonna be talking about police reform and what does that look like, and how do we, as individuals that don't necessarily um, interact very much in those arenas or live in those arenas, man. But how do we really move the needle forward in our
right.
role? Um, yeah, man, that's gonna be good. And the speaker that we got, we can't give him away, but this gentleman is he's gonna be dope, bro.
Yeah, because it's not enough just to talk about it. We gotta figure out ways to move it forward.
Man, so you gotta talk about, man, the episode when we're talking about who is really benefiting from the welfare system, the brothers that you got coming on. I mean, you can't give away, man, but just
I just hey, what's crazy is I talked to both of them last week, and they both one like I almost feel like we just gonna have to just sit back and just chill and just listen. That's how deep he is.
yeah,
And the other is a very highly educated individual, and just talk about how the welfare has benefited or handicapped a lot of people. Who benefits from it? Um, what is the end goal? What is the setup? So that will be a very interesting conversation. And being from, a family where I've had a lot of my family members on welfare, and I tell people, you know, people be like, "Oh, you got it good." I was like, "Man, I stayed in the house. It was 13 of us."
right.
13 of us in one house, 5 of us living in one room.
Yep.
So I understand what struggle is. I understand what it is. Be like, damn, what we eating. My mom used to hide our cereal in her car trunk, just to make sure that we had something to eat. So um, I do believe it's beneficial to some point, but there has to be an end goal. And I think the individuals that are going to join us um, are going to it's gonna be dope.
Man, and what's crazy is you talk about that, but like we're still living in it. We're talking about people that aren't going to work, right? That aren't in their jobs because of so many different factors, whether that's not getting paid enough or mistreatment on the job, so forth and so
Right.
on. But then you have other individuals out there, man. They're like, you know what? I'm just going to take advantage of this welfare system. I'll keep getting this check, man. Shoot, I'm not going to go back to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I got some cousins that I have conversations with. They like, man, I don't want to work, man. The government paying me every month. I'm gonna go
Chilling.
ahead and sit back and chill, man. And so, yeah, I think it's just the right time to really have that conversation. And the guys that we got coming on, man, are just they're gonna set it off.
Yeah, we need people to listen with open ears that day.
Yeah, man. Oh, but then after that, we're gonna be talking about the episode "Living a Double Life: The Experiences of Biracial Men and Women," and whew, that one is going to be one that I don't think a lot of people. We got feedback from last year. I want to say it was one of your students or whatever that talked about being biracial and just kind of some of the
Challenges. Yeah.
challenges and atrocities that she had to go through, and me having conversations with some of the individuals that I know, man, that identifies biracial. And so the conversations that are really going to be in that episode, man, I'm interested to see what different dynamics men and women experience. So do men
Right.
that are biracial experience the same level of challenges that women do? I don't know.
It'll be interesting. And what's funny is I did. I didn't realize how big of a challenge it was. You know, in all races, I think at some point we deal with interracial racism
Right.
or interracial discrimination. But I think for people of color, there's even a greater part of, you know, colorism that takes place, especially with, you know, Hispanics and definitely with African Americans, because you know, you start thinking about the field slave, the house slave,
Right.
the light skinned brother, the dark skinned brother,
Right.
you know, or that, oh, you real pretty for a dark girl, you know. So having those conversations are is something I feel like a lot of people have missed out on and have not shared. So I think it's gonna be good, man.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I 100% agree. Like it's funny you talked about the interracial conversation as we're going to be diving into light skin versus dark skin. I remember a story when I was growing up, man, how it was one of my homeboys. He was light skinned, man, and so he was back then. You know, we're talking about early '90s, right? And so these
They was
girls,
winning then though.
yeah, exactly. So the girls, man, they were going for the lighter skin brother, and I was like, man, I know ain't nothing wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, nice looking dude, but man, he was pulling them left and right, man. It was one of those things. I was like, I guess it's just the season of the time and the city that I stayed in, man. I just thought that the lighter you were, the more, I don't know, shit, better you were in so many other areas. And I was like, nah, that ain't true.
Well, it would be an interesting conversation to say the least.
Yeah. So then after that, man, I think people are going to really enjoy the next conversation, particularly as we're getting ready to move into voting and talking about mid-year elections coming up. And so we got the episode riding the train of unrest, voter suppression, Jim Crow laws return. Woo, woo, woo,
Man,
woo.
especially with all the voting craziness that's going on right now.
Woo,
I mean,
man.
hey, it just happened to hit right on time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're addressing that. The individuals that we have coming on, I'm sure they can help bring some. What's the word I want to use? Some clarity to what's all that's taking place presently. Because even I'm confused by some of it. I'm like, wait, what? We doing what? Like that can't be right. So it will be interesting to see, and you know, even going back to talk about the Capitol storm. You know, individuals feeling that the presidency, whatever what it was, was stolen from them.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah.
it will be very interesting.
Yeah, and then to tag along with that, man. I mean, just being here in the state of Texas, we're talking about abortion laws, we're talking about
Right.
voter suppression laws, and trying to ensure that you have to go through all these hoops, right, in order to be able to vote. Like, because of what happened in the 2020 election, now we have to put in all these additional laws to ensure that we're getting the right vote. And I'm like, the right vote? Like, what the hell does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So like, to
You
be
know
able
what it means, shit.
yeah, to be able to talk about all of that, man, like I'm just excited because I think that's going to be a episode that folks really need to tune in. And so, the people that are listening in, make sure that you are not only telling somebody to come to every episode, but as we talk about certain episodes, we really want to pinpoint certain ones that we think will really change, or hopefully change the mindset of individuals in the area and beyond. So,
Right on.
yeah. And then this one, bro. So the next two that I'm gonna talk about. One, we're talking about riding the train of unrest, redlining the ugly truths. And this may be a topic that a lot of people aren't too familiar with as we talk about redlining. But I think it's a heavy one that folks will be like, wow, I had no idea that that's really what was going on. We talk about that whole white flight, and we talk about the control of different communities, and um, certain people being impoverished zip codes and area codes for a certain reason. And
Right.
man, that's going to be, it's going to hit them, it's going to hit them hard, man. And then after
And
that, go ahead.
no. I'm interested in hearing about it though, and just hearing not only what our speakers have to say. That one, I think I'm just gonna just monitor the chat.
Yeah, man. And then after that, man, our final episode is we're talking about education reform. And I think as COVID's happening, in terms of removing, social justice conversation and diversity from the K through 12, and potentially, trying to make change to make that in the college realm as well. What does education reform look like in terms of what can we do being in the field of higher education? What can we do to ensure, some of these things are not going to happen, right? And
Yeah.
but what is our part? But what is the role? What is the real role of a teacher? Like I'm the people that we got coming on for the episode, man, are some experts, and so I'm really interested to know what do they think the role of a teacher should be when we talk about education reform, because in my mind, teachers, they're really just to educate and support. But if you talk to, particularly, and I put myself out here, if you talk to some of my family members, man, they feel like the teacher's responsibility is to not only educate, what I'm saying, my not only educate my child, but they're supposed to be able to discipline my
Raise
child.
them.
You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to, you know what I mean? Like they're supposed to care for my child or nurse them. I mean, like they're supposed to do like 5 or 6 other things. That's what my cousin would tell me. And I'm like, no, that's not their role.
Right. It never has been.
Right. And it shouldn't be.
And to hear some of the stories, and I'm super thankful that being a teacher, being an instructor, a professor, whatever you want to call it, that I teach adults.
Yeah.
Because knowing that during this time, not only am I in K through 12 having to teach these kids the curriculum, but you're also having to teach them behavior patterns, because a lot of it either they're not learning at home or it's not being enforced. And then from me talking to people that are in that K through 12 realm, they're calling parents, and parents are like, that's your job.
Right.
So what was funny, I played basketball Friday night, and I was talking to one of my boys, and he was like, man, I honestly, like, I can't even be mad at the kids anymore, because their parents are worse. You know, growing up in the era that I grew up, the last thing I wanted was for the teacher to have to reach out to my parent, or call my mom or call my dad, because I already know, like, my dad was gonna give me a long talking to, but my mama was gonna put them stitches to my butt. You know what I'm saying? So uh, I avoided that a lot until junior high. Um, but now, hell, you call the parent, you might as well just talk to the kid. Yeah, it's like, who's the mature one here? And just listening to a lot of people that I know that are in this K through 12, I just wouldn't, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it either, man. Like shout out to everybody that works in the K through 12 system.
Absolutely.
More power to you. You're doing some phenomenal things. Just your presence being there. Like I had a conversation. Um, my son, he does karate, and so I was talking to another parent who does substitute teaching um, around the area that we live in. And so she was telling me that now a lot of K through 12 institutions are hiring people who don't even have a K through 12 background to substitute in some of these classrooms to work with these students. And I'm like, how the hell do you bring somebody in that doesn't have any experience in K through 12? But she was saying that because not many people are wanting to go into the field or go into the, saying it's a realm of K through 12, or a lot of those people just don't want to deal with the BS and a lot of the challenges that go along with being in the K through 12 system, that they're just having to bring in just somebody in to just really pretty much babysit the kids. And I'm
So
like,
what does that do for our educational system?
exactly, man. Like, so I'm like, well, damn, now, what I'm saying? I got my child going to the school with somebody who just, works at I was about to say a restaurant, I'm not gonna say a name, but that works at a restaurant or whatever, coming in and just working on work with my children, man. And it's not fair. It's not fair to the child. And man, I'm looking forward to the conversation, because I got a lot of, we being in higher ed, man. I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah. So what I'm hoping is that the attendees that are attending, if they are that parent, listen in and understand it from the educator's perspective. This is this is a village, and it takes a village to raise it. I'll do my part, you do your part. But if you're not doing your part and you only expecting me to do my part, don't call me when your son or daughter bringing home these bad grades
Right.
or in-house suspension, or and then don't get it talking about them not wanting to wear mask.
Man, I got so much I want to say to that, man, but I'm gonna hold my peace. But yeah, man.
So I'm excited about. I think every episode we have is a trending topic that's going right now. It is something that needs to be addressed, um, and it's important that individuals come in and take accountability of the areas that they feel like, what, I'm not giving my all here. How can I be more productive in this area? How can I be more of assistance and play my role? How can I be an ally to this? Um, and even just going back to the voters, I think about how fast the Asian hate crime laws got passed, and it showed how, when you get a group to come together like that and you have a bunch of allies. I mean, they had allies across the board, different races, everybody, commercials all over the place speaking about, stop Asian hate, stop, hate crimes against Asian and all that. And I'm thinking to myself, we've been getting our ass whooped for a long time,
Yeah,
and they still haven't passed anything that says, killing of African Americans is a hate crime.
right.
The LGBTQ has it. It's a hate crime.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of conversations to be had, and I think this semester we're gonna touch some people's feelings,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm glad,
Right.
because I've never been the type to like I'm gonna dress you, but I'm gonna dress you properly, but you're gonna understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
So um,
And I think also, man, you hit the nail on the head. Is I think us being outside the realm and now being able to do this for in our own space gives us that flexibility to really be like to challenge people. I'm not saying that we couldn't do it in the space that we were in, throughout the year, but I think we were limited in certain aspects. Whereas now, we can truly challenge the narrative to really hope to change the perspective of the individuals. And I'll say this to all the listeners is, you know, we're going to be monitoring the chat. I encourage everyone in the chat that as we talk about these different conversations to utilize that feature to engage not only with us, but engage with the speakers that we have coming on. And I know a lot of people that listen in aren't shy. Like we don't have to really worry about them too much. But I do want to put that out there because I want everybody to learn from this experience. You know what I'm saying? Like Larry and I, when when we go through each episode, you know, it's a meeting. You know what I mean? Like even Larry
It
and
is
I,
a meeting.
you know what I'm saying? Adriana be sitting in the background, be like, man, these motherfuckers going at it again. You know what I'm saying? And Larry and I, we really want to ensure that individuals are learning and taking away certain things from these programs, even from these episodes. So please, 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 by all means, you are truly encouraged to come on live. If you don't want to show your video, you don't have to, but you can. You know, the mic is there for you, and so we want to emphasize that as much as we can because it's not all about us. It's not about us. So
No. And, make sure you do it respectfully. But you got to put that out there because, some people come on there and be like, back in 1982, nah, you got to do it respectfully. But I am, and I think that's key because without our guests, we wouldn't even be doing this right now. So, do we even want to tell them we got t-shirts made?
Man, you got a t-shirt on you? You want to show it to them?
Nah, it's in my truck. And honestly, I was like, dang, I ain't get Dantrayl this shirt. We could have wore our shirts today, but we can wear them for the first episode.
Yeah, we wore them for the first episode.
But we want this is you guys. You guys are our village. Without you all, we wouldn't be here. So from Dantrayl and both of us, myself, we greatly appreciate your support. And I think that these episodes that we have planned for this semester are, if you thought the first two were good, I think these two are going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, man. Because to be honest with you, we really could do an entire semester talking about police brutality, entire semester talking about education reform and so forth. And you know what, it may branch off into that based upon the feedback that we receive from our audience, if that's something that they're really interested in learning more about. And we listen to you all. We take every feedback, every comment, everything that's shared with us, and we try to incorporate that into everything that we're really doing. And so
Speaking of, I'm gonna have to start remembering some of your quotes at the end because I was asked about one and I was like, like what episode we gonna get?
Oh man. Yeah, I got some. Wait, once we start next week, man, I got some powerful ones that I'm going to really hit them with, man. That they're going to be like, whoo! Not only was the episode heavy, man, but we could do an episode just around the quote. So, man, riding the train of unrest, man. That's our theme for the semester. Riding the train of unrest, and really for the entire year, because there's so much going on that I think we really need to talk about.
It is. Whole lot. Yeah.
So
anything else we need to share before we get ready to let them know, be ready next week?
No, man, that's it, man. Just come prepared, come ready, and we'll have a similar format as what we've had before, but this one's going to be raw.
I'm gonna let my hair down.
Hey, cheers to you, my dude.
All right. Hey, we appreciate everybody being on today. Thank you for those who listen to this later. Thank you for those who during the summer, during the spring, you met with us and helped us plan and get this out. Again, Judith, super kudos and thanks to you. Miss Cavett, hey, we super appreciate it. I mean, if they only knew how much work you did, hey, right. Arturo, if you listen to this later, appreciate the graphics. Summer, appreciate the information that you dropped and the knowledge that you dropped for us. Who else did we? Misha Jackson, appreciate you and the conversations that we had, and man, we ready.
Yeah, this is it.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all Labor Day. Have a good one.
try to do is eat off you. You know what I'm saying? They try to feed off your shit and feed off your vibe and shit. But you know, you already know the vibes, bro. You know how we coming, man. That's why we gonna stay thorough. We gonna stay solid. We gonna make sure we keep that protection aura.
We bout to blow.